Senator Hashmi, we now have an incorporated bill into your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. So as you heard, this is an area that several of our legislators in both the House as well as in the Senate and many of our advocacy groups and various organizations have been working on. This is an effort to address the critical crisis that we have in housing shortage as well as in specifically in shortage of affordable housing. And as all of us, I think, would acknowledge, housing is not just a commodity, but it is a basic human right, and that we have a fundamental responsibility, a collective responsibility, to ensure that all families, no matter their income or their background, have a place to call home. And for too long, we've seen many of our faith-based organizations and houses of worship sit on vacant properties and properties that can be repurposed to address our housing crisis. And this legislation seeks to empower to do that. So, Mr. Chair, we have a substitute that we'd like to introduce based on some of the ongoing conversations that we've been having. And if I could present the substitute to the committee.
Is there a motion on the substitute? So moved. There's a motion and a second to adopt the substitute. All in favor, say aye. 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 The substitute is before us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the bill is really very specifically focused. It's granting authority to our localities to adopt a variety of strategies that are intended to encourage and facilitate the development of affordable housing on property that's owned by either religious organizations or by tax-exempt nonprofit organizations. And it allows our localities to request administrative support from the Department of Housing and Community Development in preparation for a faith and housing ordinance. And you'll see in the substitute that we have clarified much of the language that would allow the localities, as they are developing their comprehensive plans, to incorporate and also include community input into their work to develop the comprehensive plan, to propose strategies that support affordable housing development by religious or by property tax exempt nonprofit organizations. This legislation spells out the ways in which the local localities would be able to provide that support. Specifically to create a process for religious organizations or tax-exempt nonprofits to develop affordable housing on their real property, to create a zoning overlay district, to establish application incentives, to provide a review by the Planning Commission, and to establish clear guidelines that would allow such efforts to go forward. And that's the essence of the bill. It is to permit our localities the opportunity to incorporate into their comprehensive plan how to move forward with establishing affordable housing through property that's owned by religious organizations or by tax-exempt organizations.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Rum, you have a question.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A question for the patron. So I would ask the patron in the first section of the bill where it says beginning July 1st, 2025, a locality shall, that is the only requirement imposed to localities, and everything after that is permissive of the localities unless, let's say, so that part is basically saying you're supposed to include this in your comprehensive plan the next time that you have an update with it. And then after that, it becomes permissive for localities. It says, if you want to adopt an ordinance, then you shall do these three things. Is that correct? Is that a proper understanding of the bill?
Mr. Chair and Senator Rome, that's exactly correct.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Senator. So we'll take those in support of Senate Bill 1178. Please come forward. We're going to have, depending on how many, if you can come up and show your support. If there's anything new to add to the committee's knowledge base that the patron did not say, you can share that. And we'll go through and limit to 5 minutes, but encourage, we have a lot of other items on the docket today. So good morning.
Good morning. Sheila Hurley-Hennessy with the Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy. The patron did a phenomenal job summarizing the bill, and we are very grateful to both her and Senator Srinivasan for bringing this issue forward. Faith communities around Virginia are indeed in crisis and want to be able to support their communities. I dropped off at all of your offices this past week a copy of this book on congregations building affordable housing around Virginia, which goes into far more depth than I will in the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Happy to answer any questions, but would appreciate your support of this bill to allow localities to make it easier for congregations to build affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Ben Campbell. I'm working with Virginia Episcopal Real Estate Partners. The Episcopal Diocese of Virginia has 179 churches between the James and the Potomac River. And we have begun to engage in a significant process of working with churches that have a congregation too small for their facility and have land available that could be used for affordable housing. If we talk about affordable housing, I did run a nonprofit in housing for about 4 years. If we talk about affordable housing, anything you can do to make it more affordable is critical. So facilitating the process, cutting down the number of lawyers we have to hire and the way we go through things, and makes an enormous difference as we try to lower the cost, which then gets passed on to the people. And we have motivated people wanting to do this.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Tony Miller, and I am a parishioner at St. Elizabeth's Catholic Church here in the city of Richmond. We have a booming immigrant community, and this applies to us because we've donated our land that was formerly the school to be able to facilitate housing, affordable housing for these folks and other folks like them. This bill would be a wonderful way to help localities make the process go a lot quicker, so we're very in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Sarah Graham Taylor on behalf of the City of Alexandria. We support the bill. We have done projects like this in our city. We have been very successful. We appreciate this bill will open us up for other localities to do work as the City of Alexandria has done. Thank you.
Morning. Morning, Mr. Chair. Scott Pedowitz with the Apartment and Office Building Association. Also support the bill as a way to work with willing partners to increase our housing supply. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Ryan O'Toole of Freedom, Virginia. We support the bill to address the state's housing crisis. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman. Laura Dodds with Housing Opportunities Made Equal. We support the bill, as does the Virginia Coalition for Immigrant Rights. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and fellow senators. My name is Eli Weinger with Students for Equity and Reform in Virginia. We're here in support of the bill. Thank you.
Good morning, Trip Pollard with the Southern Environmental Law Center. This bill does a great job of balancing sometimes competing public interests between the provision of affordable housing, protecting local authority, and we thank the Senator especially for working with us on this latest round of changes, and we support the bill.
Noah Ackerman. I'm a seminarian at Virginia Theological Seminary in Alexandria. The current zoning process is prohibitively expensive and lengthy and ultimately too unpredictable for most of our congregations. In the group that I am representing today, Voice, Virginians Organized for Interfaith Community Engagement, so we are here supporting the stronger language of Srinivasan's original bill.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Kashish Pillay with New Virginia Majority, and we support this bill to address the housing crisis. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, Senators. I'm Gustavo Espinosa with the Legal Aid Justice Center. We support long-term supply solutions that make housing affordable to low-income Virginians. These solutions are helpful when coupled with stronger protections that keep folks in their homes in the short term. We support this bill. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Stuart Schwartz. I'm the Executive Director of the Coalition for Smarter Growth, working in the D.C. region, including Northern Virginia. We've worked with a number of faith institutions and nonprofit affordable housing developers on some terrific projects in Alexandria, Arlington, and Fairfax, in locations close to transit, jobs, and walkable neighborhoods. So we think it's a great idea to provide this opportunity, enabling powers and flexibility to local governments to increase the supply of affordable housing through this method. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, I'm Will Wilson with RVA YIMBY and the Commonwealth Housing Coalition. We support the stronger language formerly carried by Senator Srinivasan. In a housing crisis, telling localities shall is not enough. Let those who serve God and their missions take priority over the insecurities of zoning administrators. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Two
Barrett
more
Harden.
speakers.
the Commonwealth Housing Coalition. We also support the stronger language of Senator Srinivasan's bill, but appreciate Senator Hashmi and this first step towards making housing for faith organizations easier.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning, Michelle Gowdy, VML. We support the bill.
Mr. Chairman, a question, Ms. Gowdy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Gowdy, love what you do, of course, but does it concern the municipalities that rather than permissively, this says in line 13 that the towns and cities shall do this, shall develop a plan which incorporates this? I mean, that's not a bother to you all?
For the comprehensive plan piece?
Yes.
No, that was a negotiated piece with the senator and with the interfaith people, and we all worked in very good faith to get that comprehensive plan language in there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We have three speakers online. I will allow extension. Priority is given to those in the room for testimony, so we're beyond our time limit. So if you want to raise your hand and simply state your name for support, we'd appreciate it so we can move through it. We also need to take opposition.
Cindy Messer, please unmute and begin your testimony.
Good morning, Cindy Mester, City of Falls Church, Legislative Affairs Director, and on behalf of City Council, we appreciate the work that's gone through to roll Senate Bill 1351 into Senate Bill 1178, and we're supportive of the substitute. We all agree on the need and the criticality of affordable housing, and this presents a nice balance.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next speaker.
Janelle Watson, please turn on your camera, unmute, and begin your testimony.
Hi, my name is Janelle Watson. I'm a pastor with the Virginia Conference of the United Methodist Church and executive director of Embrace Centers for Community Incorporated, with a site at Embrace Waynesboro in Waynesboro, Virginia. We have approximately four.
Thank you. You're in support of the bill. I'm sorry to be short. We've gone over our time for support, so I just want to be respectful of those who may want to speak against it as well. Thank you for joining us this morning. And the last speaker online.
Steve Stanley, please turn on your camera, unmute, and begin your testimony.
Good morning. My name is Steve Stanley. I'm speaking in support of these two bills, 1178 and 1351. I'm currently the Vestry Council President at Holy Apostles Church in Virginia Beach, and we have experienced selling a piece of our property and having a building for young girls who have been human trafficked. That building is in support of those young girls.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Those in opposition to Senate Bill 1178, please come forward. Senator, you seem to have done a pretty good job at clearing out the room of any opposition. So well done for a Monday morning, or they just haven't had their coffee and made it in quite yet. So well done. So the questions of the patron from the committee, if there is a motion, it'll have to be re-referred to finance. I do have a letter from the chair.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion.
Senator Rome.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to report as amended and refer to finance.
All right, there's a motion and a second to report and re-refer Senate Bill 1178. Clerk, open the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving along with housing bills and toolboxes for the localities. I'm looking at 2153, our faith in housing.
You have a substitute for that?
Yes, I do.
Move the substitute.
It's been moved and seconded that the subcommittee adopt a substitute. As many as favor of that motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the substitute is before us. Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. HB 2153 enables localities to pass ordinances to simplify the process for property tax exempt nonprofits, including faith communities, to build multifamily affordable housing on their land. The bill also asks localities to incorporate strategies in comprehensive plans that would support property tax exempt nonprofits building housing. Finally, it allows the Department of Housing and Community Development to provide potential strategies for both comprehensive plan and ordinances that localities can consider. The bill originated in response to faith organizations who want to respond to the housing crisis in Virginia by putting underutilized land that the congregation owns to use. The bill will create an innovative new tool in the toolbox for localities. The substitute, Mr. Chairman, clarifies language to ensure that this ordinance would apply to all tax-exempt nonprofits, not just to faith organizations. It also greatly streamlines the language for the comprehensive plans and local ordinances so localities can be more prescriptive to their needs.
All right. So the big change in the substitute is that it opens this up to all nonprofit 501c3 organizations that are eligible for tax exempt, they're exempt from paying property taxes and doesn't limit it to just faith-based organizations. All right, are there any questions from the subcommittee? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the bill, please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee. Sheila Hurley-Hennessy with the Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy. This is a major issue because we have an affordable housing crisis in Virginia, a shortage of over 200,000 units, and faith communities are also in crisis as they see declining membership and declining contributions. This is a way that congregations can choose to continue to live their values, and other property tax exempt nonprofits are also eligible to do so by allowing localities to make the process a little bit easier for people who don't do this on the daily basis. More than 14 congregations around Virginia have already built housing, but all of them found the process cumbersome and difficult. And so to make it a little bit easier for the dozens more who are considering doing this kind of process, I would ask that you support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to make comments. I'm Roxanne Rucker. Speaking really as a private citizen, what's unique about what I have to say is that I recently moved here from Washington, D.C., where my faith community moved forward with an affordable housing project to build 224 affordable housing units as a way of unlocking the wealth that was in that church property and serve the desperate needs of the community there in Washington, D.C. Now that I'm here, I would love to see more faith communities in Virginia have access also to these creative solutions to address this housing crisis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Gustavo Espinosa with the Legal Aid Justice Center. And also on behalf of the New Virginia Majority, we would like to thank the patron for her bill and her commitment to this issue. We support and desperately need long-term supply-side solutions, especially creative ones like this one. These solutions are especially helpful when coupled with strong protections for tenants so they can stay in their homes in the short term. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Troy Garrett with the Virginia Association of Housing and Community Development Officials, and we support this bill now.
Thank you. Did you say now? All right.
Thank you, Chairman. Stuart Schwartz, Coalition for Smarter Growth. We've worked with a number of faith nonprofits in Northern Virginia, supporting their projects. So we do support this bill and certainly encourage it for locations close to jobs, transit, and other services. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't asked for the nose yet.
Bisma Ahmed with the Apartment and Office Building Association and Virginia Apartment Management Association. We support the bill.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the bill? Seeing none, the committee operates by motion. So it's been moved and seconded. The bill report with substitute. The clerk will open the roll. The clerk will close the roll. Bill reports 6-2.